Hello, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. Hope you enjoy your upcoming 3-day holiday weekend. The market is closed for Monday. The market, it's awesome. Listen, the NAIIM numbers came down. I think that they're only like 70% long. AAII survey shows more bears than at any point in the past year. The bulls are at extremely low levels, and no matter what bad news is thrown at this market or perceived bad news, whatever, it just fights it off. Doesn't matter if it's deep seek tariffs, a higher CPI, higher PPI, and then the most recent, like this mark, things have changed was after the steel and aluminum tariff announcement. That's just a total change of character. And then yesterday, the SPY broke out above this downtrend line. I told everybody that I wanted to see a full body candle and wick close above the downtrend line. We got that today. We're within hairs of all-time highs. I think on a weekly basis, we close at all-time highs on the SPY and the QQQ. So I'm bullish. And I tell you what, it's the second half of February. This is when it's supposed to be bearish. I would love to see us just to consolidate sideways, and I think we have a launching pad for a rocket ship higher because I've been expecting a pullback based on negative divergences in my oscillators and internals. Momentum indicators. The recent defensive group leadership, the VIX that appears to be making a higher low. Which, by the way, let's check in on that. It's still doing that, by the way. It's still, I mean, at least it's now below that downtrend line again, but it was for a hot second here too. So I want to see it actually break and hold and go towards 10, and then I know that we're good to go. But overall, there were just the put call ratio, the 1 year average of the put call ratio is now at levels that show me extreme complacency, but it doesn't matter, guys. All that matters is price. Price is all that pays. Price is all that ultimately leads me and your profit and loss statement to gains or losses. So this evening, I do have one new long position. I'll review that chart here in a second, but I just want to highlight some interesting moves on the day. PCOR. Watching this one weekly base. Look at that IPO base forming. Very, very, very large. I was mentioning to a member in the chat room that if we get over 100, it's probably going to 150, 200. QD also looks very interesting, breaking out of this long cup with handle base. It's just too extended short term for me, and NTRA has earnings coming up, but pocket pivot point signal right off the 50 SMA. TSSI is an interesting one, and it looks tight, right? Because it's a log chart, but if you look at an arithmetic, it's wide and loose. So, not personally interested. And then Sale is a recent IPO. This has got JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America all behind it. I'll be watching this one for a consolidation or pullback entry, not only on a swing position side, but for the long-term portfolio. So if anybody wants to know what I look for in IPOs for the long-term portfolio, Sale is it. Has the proper underwriters, has the proper earnings and sales growth, and has the proper volume. So keeping an eye on that one. And then before I show you on my telechart version 25, ACHR is in my tight, most stringent daily squeeze scan. So is eCore, and so is UAMY. Just want to show you what they look like on this platform. So I also want to review. I actually have quite a few 100% end-of-day sell signals this evening, but to show you anyone that's not a member how it works, if you trade on an end-of-day basis alone, we got 4 full sell signals today. ZWS was a long entry here. With its close today, you can see I always round down for my gains. That's an 8% winner, but that is a 100% sell signal today with us closing below this low after already basically rolling over on heavier above average volume. So that's an 8% gain. Here's one that's a loser, PLNT. PLNT was a new long position here, entered the trade here, It is closing below the 50-day moving average. This is a confirmation close below the 50-day moving average on heavier and above average volume. You can see the relative strength line breaking that uptrend line with it now closing below 101.04. That is a full 100% sell signal for a whopping loss of, I'm rounding up, -1%, but as you can see, -0.55. And then there's one other full sell signal, CALM. This is basically similar to a confirmation close, but the mere fact that it cracked the 50 SMA so hard with that huge volume spike, red bops spike down, and with the relative strength line destroying that uptrend line, that is a full sell signal. And if I remember, this is because I've already removed the triangles from this chart. So you can see here, it is, I round down, a 1% gain on an end of day basis. That is if the market opens flat Monday morning, obviously. And then another confirmation close below the 50 SMA, CLBT, 50% end of day sell signal yesterday, 100% today. The new long position was back here on this date, 60% gain. So what do you have? 61, 8% gains, and then a -1% loss. Rinse and repeat in bull markets. In time, things really work out. And speaking of things really worked out, our quarterly portfolio rocked it last quarter. I took all of my profits because I thought the market was going to pull back with a 10x outperformance of the S&P 500. We'll reconstitute that portfolio and have new names ready to go for this quarter on Tuesday. So I do have one new long position that I want to take on a swing basis. It's already in my long-term portfolio. And on a swing basis, I'm already completely out of it because of this day right here. It was a new long position, and you can see that if you're still long AXON, there's a 77% gain. But I have an add signal today. That being said, earnings are on 225. Can't remember if the before or after the market close. But AXON is forming, and I've already talked about this past week to members in the chat room, a cup with handle formation. It looks like I kind of have a cheater signal here with a pocket pivot point signal off the 21 EMA on heavier volume. It is not above average. And if you look at this balance of power right here, it isn't exploding or even moving higher than the previous high bar. On top of that, the relative strength line does have a slight negative divergence. So I ask you, am I going to load the boat in this trade? No. What I'm going to do is get long above the high of the day if it triggers up and through. If it gaps up, it must come back below the high of the day price. Then the buy stop limit order can be initiated. But I'll have my buy stop at 686.18. I don't want to pay more than 687 for it because of earnings coming up. I'll be calculating my size from the 50 SMA and or this low. It looks like it's splitting hairs. The low is 635.54. The 50 SMA here is 629.97. It's splitting hairs, but I'll be using the 50 SMA. And if this stock doesn't work higher immediately, I'll be getting out with a move below this low. So if I get long, my size will be calculated from this low. My final stop will be from here. And once we enter the week of 225, so not next week, but once Monday comes on AXON for this add signal, if it doesn't have at least a 20% gain, which I doubt it will, I have to start paring it back. So this is what X, and then we got to look at the quality of the signal. This is a weekly chart. Look at the last time AXON broke out of a base. It was coming out of a squeeze. Look at this breakout where we took the swing position. It was coming out of a medium squeeze, a proper squeeze. Now, did it make my scans back then? Yeah, but did it trade proper? I thought it didn't because right before it ended up breaking out, you can see it kind of violated the 21 EMA, so I really didn't notice it as it was basing out. However, once again, if you want to know when to buy a buyable gap up, we talked about this week with APP, which failed because it ran too much after hours. Look at how AXON Bible gap up, leading stock right above the recent resistance levels. Now on APP, I told everybody after its earnings, this name was a viable gap up. But since telling everybody that in the chat room, it continued to move higher after hours. And you can see how far away it gapped up. So it wasn't a buy, but look at it today. Another bullish inside hammer candle. So that is what's potentially could happen. But on a weekly basis, AXON, no squeeze. Okay? So keep that in mind. And on a daily basis, even as it builds out this cup with handle, no red dots, no squeeze, but we are triple green. So I'm willing to give it a shot. Also, just wanted to mention these were the stocks. FSI, I showed everyone this one yesterday in the video lesson. Only had a 1 dot squeeze. Don't even know why it was in the scan, but it was. That turned out to work out really well today. Completely missed that one. But there's ACHR with its base. LPLA is a little extended. This one's done. DESP is done. And there's ECOR with, look at that, long, tight squeeze as it consolidates here. A breakout above this downtrend line, it could be good to go. I would like to get it. I would like to see this thing close below the 21 EMA so I can then buy it on a move back above it. It did not happen on this day, so there's no entry. But ECOR is one of the best ones. HEES is like DESP. I don't know how to make these stocks not show up in the scan. And then UAMY actually dropped off because the moving TSV turned red on the weekly basis. But to me, it's basically triple green there. And on a daily, you can see the squeeze. And we're triple green on these indicators. Once again, I don't really care about these indicators. It's just more of a confirmation. Just like with the SPY now being at all-time highs, I want to get long size in leading stocks that set up in proper consolidation patterns that are breaking out. That preferably don't have earnings the next day or the next week or upcoming like AXON does. Anyway, hope everybody had a great rest of your week. Leave a comment below. Has your opinion changed on this market like mine has? I really don't ever have an opinion. I just follow price. And in today's algorithm regime, where things just don't make sense, it's best to obey price. Price is my quote, quote, master. It will be forever and always.